Welcome back to They Did What? Your source of the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for punching my husband's ex-wife? And a shout out to Mark for sending this story. And guys, this very entertaining story, is something that all you husbands out there that have a nutcase of an ex-wife will appreciate, as well as my female subscribers, all 4% of you, or almost 5%, we're getting to that 5% number slowly over time, will appreciate if your husband has a wacko that you got to deal with. This is about a wife who is pushed too far, and let me tell you, handles it. I don't like the word boss babe, but this chick's pretty cool, so therefore I'll give her the boss thing for once. And you're going to see how this whole thing goes. And in my opinion, when you're pushed too far and actually feel threatened physically, you got every right to do what you got to do. And this one is quite a good one here. It says here, my husband's ex-wife, who we will call Shelly, hates me, and I'm not a big fan of hers either. She is high conflict and has been putting my stepson in the middle of her crap since the beginning. She had him listen at our door and report back what I said. She even called CPS on me one time for having a medical marijuana card. Nothing came of it. Well, I can see an ex having a problem with somebody smoking, even if it's medical issued, but still, you're going to see this chick's crazy. She will tell anyone that will listen that I stole her family from her and I destroyed her life. My husband had been divorced from her for 8 years when I met him. I just think that backstory is important. Yeah, stole the husband, really? You've been divorced for 8 years and now this woman's stealing your husband? You already can tell this chick's mental. Why do you think he divorced her in the first place? Well, you're going to see. A couple days ago, I took my daughter, a 4-year-old, to the park in our subdivision to play. As I was pushing her in the swings, I saw Shelly pull up. I immediately grabbed my daughter and started walking back home. Shelly began to follow me and started yelling insults and threats at me. I dialed 911 and told them what was going on, so we stayed on the line. Now, this woman shouldn't have to leave a fun day at the park with the daughter just because this a-hole's showing up. So you can see she's trying to avoid an altercation, a physical altercation. And immediately is calling 911 because she knows there's going to be trouble here. She called my daughter a half-breed. I'm black, my husband is white, and continued to follow me down the street, hurling insults. Oh, hell no. It's one thing you insult me, but you're going to insult my child, and the child's right there. That's when I think you're going to go down. End of freaking story here. What a piece of shit. I told her to leave me alone, and I called the cops. That just made her more aggressive. By that point, I was in front of my house, and my garage door was up, so I told my daughter to go inside and get Dad. Okay, now she's on her own property. And so if this woman comes on our property, she's trespassing amongst many other things here. I turn around, and Shelly is running full speed towards me with her arms drawn back. Well, anybody that trained in martial arts or boxing knows darn well you don't want to give away what you're doing here. But she's charging at her like a bull with the arm pulled back. What do you think she's going to do? On your property, trespassing. I punched her dead in the throat. Whew. That could have killed her. She fell on the ground and was gasping for air. I dropped to the ground to ask her if she was okay, but she continued to try to swing at me as she gasped for air. I wouldn't have punched her in the throat, but in the heat of the moment, things can happen. But still, she just clocked her in the nose or a left hook or something. The cops arrived and put her in handcuffs before she started to fight them, or because she started to fight them. Yeah, you can tell this chick is unhinged. They put us in separate areas and talked to us. She told them that I hit her first, but my husband was already outside with the footage ready to show the police. They asked me if I want to press charges, and I said yes. You're damn fucking right I'm pressing charges. This chick's on my property. She's been harassing me for years, and she charged me. I mean, guys, it's obvious. It wasn't like she was going to charge her and then suddenly stop. She was going to attack her on her property because people are giving her a hard time about this. This is where people are saying I'm wrong. We live in a small town, and people got wind of what happened, and almost everyone is saying I'm wrong because Shelly is 5'4" and maybe 130 pounds, and I'm 5'10" and weigh about 180, and I lift weights. So the fuck what? If someone's attacking you, right to defend yourself. I don't care if this broad telling the story here and is 9 feet tall, weighs 280 pounds, and has 6 black belts. Doesn't matter. If someone's charging you, is going to harm you physically. I don't care what the size comparison. You're right to kick their ass. Unless you live in some silly state where even self-defense is a crime. And there are some states like that. I used to live in one. People are saying I should have went easier on her and I could have really hurt her. They've also said I've done enough and charges weren't necessary. Well, tell all those people one by one to go fuck themselves. And if they charge you, you're going to do the same thing. This is small town life. I spent a lot of years growing up in a small town. People have nothing else to do but fucking talk shit. But, yeah. No, she has every right to do what she's going to do. Of course, my husband, my stepson, and my family are on my side, but I've gotten some nasty messages from people in my town calling me a monster and a bully. Well, clearly they have a problem with this woman telling the story here. It's obvious. I feel like I was just defending myself, but I want some unbiased opinions because now I feel like I might have taken it too far. I'm starting to doubt myself. Am I the a-hole? Not at all. You immediately left the scene where she was starting trouble, trying to avoid conflict. You immediately called 911 because you knew shit was going to go down. You went home, went on the safety of your own property, opened the garage door. She still chased you, insulted you, and then physically trespassed on your property, attacked you, And believe me, in the heat of the moment, it's, she's not a trained professional. She defended herself. And you get like a microsecond to think and react, okay? And, yeah, ideally she didn't punch her in the throat because she could have killed her and that could have been different, but still, she has the right to do what she did. Now, I'll read a few opinions here. Now, the whole comment section is interesting here, but I'll read a couple opinions. I'll go on to part 2. This one says, you're not the a-hole. You were defending yourself against a physical threat, and your actions were reasonable given the circumstances. Shelley's behavior was unacceptable, and she escalated the situation by following you, yelling insults, and making threats. When she charged at you with her arm drawn back, you had every right to protect yourself. Thank you. The criticism from people in your town seems misguided, focusing on your physical size and strength rather than the facts of the situation. The fact that Shelley is smarter than you doesn't mean you should have allowed her to attack you without defending yourself. I don't know where the smarter than you thing comes from. It's also important to note that Shelley's behavior has been problematic for a long time, including putting your stepson in the middle of her conflicts and making false reports to CPS. Her actions have shown a pattern of aggression and manipulation. I have a hard time believing this is the first public issue where this woman was getting out of hand and they had to call the cops. You did the right thing by defending yourself and pressing charges. Don't let the opinions of others make you doubt your actions. You prioritize your safety and the safety of your child, and that's something to be proud of. I got no problem with what she did, but thank God the husband was recording this. Another one, not the a-hole. Shelley's an idiot to try to swing on someone bigger, taller, and stronger than her. And why? Because you didn't react to her insults. Instead, you asked her to leave you alone and then called the cops. Had you not turned around to see her running towards you, she would have hit you. She could have caused you great damage. Instead, you threw one punch to keep her away. Too bad your first one was at throat level. She should have thought that one through before she tried to attack you. Well, she's unhinged. Who knows? She was drunk, she was undrugged, or just a freaking nutcase. Do not doubt yourself. You defended yourself from someone who intended to do you harm. You didn't continue to wail on her. You were not the aggressor. She stepped on your property and threatened you and your child. People in your town are idiots. Fight rumor with truth. Post the footage. Show the charges. The people in the town aren't going to care because people in small towns have nothing to fucking do but gossip. Again, I lived in a small town. And I'm blah, 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 blah. Now on to the update. She says, it hasn't been 24 hours since my last post, but I feel you all deserve an update from me to clarify some things. First, my daughter and I are okay, and thank you all so much for your support. My daughter heard what was said, but unfortunately has no idea what it means. She also did not see any of the physical violence that occurred. Well, I'm glad the daughter doesn't know what it means, but pretty soon she's going to find out. But insulting the daughter like that? Oh, hell no. Secondly, Shelley is still in jail. Luckily for us, her family doesn't even like her, so no one has bailed her out. Hey, let the bitch rot. She also had a warrant, so she'll probably be sitting there for a while. Well, how interesting. A warrant for what? I'm sure it's not, unpaid parking tickets. I'm sure it's other bullshit. And this will help her. This will help the woman tell the story here. Next, for everyone worried about my stepson, he's just my son in our house. Thank you so much for the concern, but he's 18 years old, and I've been his mother figure for the past 10 years. Yeah, and I guarantee the unhinged Shelley resents that. He knows his mom's antics, and he's in therapy, and he's okay. For the people that private message me saying I alienated my stepson from his mom, shame on you. Of course, people were giving her shit. She says, y'all have no idea what this kid has dealt with through the years, and he is so strong. So obviously when he was really little, the mother manipulated him to eavesdrop and use an excuse to call CPS and stuff like that. This kid was in the middle of it. He was little. I also like to clarify that I did press charges. I spoke to my lawyer, my aunt, and she said I actually have plenty of evidence from over the years to sue Shelley for the emotional pain she has caused me, and I'll be pursuing that. I have no problem with that. I don't know if Shelley has any money, but if she does, I had no problem with this because she needs to be taught a lesson. And obviously doing some time, probably someone like her is not going to do much time. The lawyer will probably plea bargain or something. But hit him where it hurts, financially. Teach her a lesson. This is what happens when you cross the line. There's consequences. Don't fuck with me. And also, I'm a vindictive motherfucker when you hurt someone I love. Just her insulting the daughter alone, in my opinion, warrants somehow hitting this one where it hurts the most. I'm going to make it hurt so she knows this behavior will not be tolerated. I'm also in the process of getting a restraining order, which will not take long, given all the evidence. Very good idea. Lastly, this whole situation has been so eye-opening to me about the lack of support I have living in this town. I've stayed because I thought it was the best for my family, but after speaking with my husband and stepson, we all realized it's best for everyone if we move and start fresh. If anyone has suggestions of diverse places to move to with good school system for our daughter, please comment below. I want to thank you all so much again for the help. I've felt more support from strangers on the internet than I have from the community I lived in for years. I'll continue to keep you all updated with whatever I can as I continue this process. So anyway, guys, I say that chick is awesome. Good for her. Ideally, she wouldn't have punched her in the throat, even though the asshole deserves it. But she could have killed her, and that would have changed everything. But still, punching her, awesome. And she avoided the conflict as long as she could. But anyhow, I think this chick's awesome. So I'm sure many of you guys out there are married, but hopefully happily married, have a crazy ex. You'll appreciate this because you would probably love to see your crazy ex get clocked. Or you, my almost 5%ers out there, you'll appreciate this too because I'm sure if you're married to a guy who's divorced and he's a good guy and you're a good wife and he has a nut job wife, you'd love to do this type of thing. So, but it's interesting, ordinarily I wouldn't advocate being pushed out of your home and bullied and all that, but if they live in an area that's obviously like this and hostile, maybe it's not a bad idea to start over. I'm willing to bet you, he didn't say it, but I'm guessing that chick is from this town, and she says that she's black and her husband's white. Maybe it's just an area that people just simply, is possible, just hate the idea that she's with that guy. I mean, seriously, it's possible. I mean, it's not uncommon. And they're taking this out of the unhinged chick because she probably spreads all this rumor. She stole my family and shit like that. Who knows? But it might be time to, take a look at a new place, fresh start if possible. Because you don't want to be living in a place like that. And again, spending a lot of years in a small town, which I would never go back to, believe me. I know it's like, because once you're kind of seen as a certain way, that's shit lasts generations. I'm not kidding, man. It's crazy. So, but anyhow, it's a short one, guys, but I thought it'd be a good one to cover here. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you find a good story you'd like me to cover, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmail@gmail.com. And if it definitely works for the channel, I'll cover it. And this also goes for whether it's a longer story over here or a shorter story I can do on my other channel, Hit the Bricks, which, by the way, if you haven't signed up for my other channel, you like shorter stories, a quick one while you're having your morning coffee, 8 to 10 minutes long, crazy. Check out the other channel, Hit the Bricks. You'll definitely enjoy it. It's very more to the point. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.